Hi everybody, I'm Roberta. Welcome to my home. I've got a great recipe for you today. A jam and goat cheese strudel. This is a wonderful hors d'oeuvre when you're having guests over for drinks, or it's a great addition to a cheese plate if you want to serve it as the first course to a sit-down dinner. It's super easy, so let's get started. I have here some store-bought Phyllo dough that you find right in the freezer section at your grocery store. Phyllo dough is paper thin, so you always want to be gentle when you're working with it. The first thing you need to do is make sure you take it out 2 hours in advance from the freezer and then gently unroll it. I'm going to take a sheet and put it on a parchment-lined baking sheet, and I'm going to brush it with butter. The key to this is to make sure you butter each layer so that it stays moist and they all stick together, and that's how they form that flaky crust that's going to be on our strudel. Really doesn't take that much butter at all. So I had some friends over the other night, and I wanted to do a sit-down first course that was easy, that I didn't have to do a lot of cooking to. So I decided to make this recipe and serve it alongside some individual cheeses. So I sliced the strudel up, and then I also sliced up 3 different cheeses and put each type on the plate along with it. My guests loved it. They loved the whole combination of it. You know, cheese is something that can be very intimidating to people, kind of like wine if you don't know a lot about it. And there's so many cheeses out there to choose from. That's why, living on the shoreline, I get my cheese from the cheese shop of Centerbrook. Family owned by Paul Partica and his wife. They just absolutely love to educate you on cheese. When you go in there, you can try as many cheeses as you want, and they're just so happy to talk to you about them. Have a question about what to serve with a certain wine? They're going to answer those questions, and they're going to make you look terrific in front of your guests. So I'm on my 3rd layer of Phyllo. And remember, this doesn't have to be perfect. It's all going to be rolled up. Now I'm going to use goat cheese today. And I have a Cabernet onion jam that I also got at the cheese shop. They have a whole line of wonderful private label goods, as well as all these delicious jams that you can cook with. And this is an amazing combination. So great with a glass of wine. So we have our last layer of Phyllo. And the goat cheese is nice and mild in this because I don't want the onion jam and the cheese to fight each other. So it's a good pairing with the jam selection. So I'm going to take my onion jam, just spread it all over the inside. It smells so good. You can smell the wine. I bought so many jars of this jam. It comes in all different fig and Cabernet. I think it comes in a Chardonnay and maybe like mango or apricot. I gave them to friends for the holidays. They're just so good as an addition to your cheese tray. Okay, so now the goat cheese. I've left the goat cheese out so it's nice and soft. And I'm just going to put the goat cheese all over. Isn't this simple? And you know what else is great about this? You can make this in advance, cover it really well with plastic wrap, and then go over the plastic wrap with foil, put it in an airtight Ziploc bag, and pop it in the freezer, and it'll stay for a few weeks. And then when you have guests at the last minute, pull it out, bake it right from the freezer. It's that simple. Okay. Now for the rolling. So just gently lift from the top off the parchment, just like you would a jelly roll. Really easy. And now your seam that's closest to you becomes the seam that's underneath. Now I have some egg wash. I'm just going to brush it And then, because it's a strudel, and usually strudels are scored slightly, I'm just gonna take a knife, just gently score it, and this also helps you portion it out. You usually get right around 7 pieces. You could probably stretch it to 8 if you make them a little smaller. That's all there is to this. I'm gonna pop it in an oven for 12 to 15 minutes, and it's gonna get golden brown, and you serve it warm out of the oven. It is delicious. When I come back, you're gonna see the finished product. Doesn't this look beautiful? I decided to show it to you, presented in the same manner I served it to my guests last weekend. And so what I did was I cut the little wedges of the strudel, and then on the plate I picked 3 cheeses. I want to tell you just a little bit about selecting cheeses because again, it can be somewhat intimidating. First of all, you always want to start with a good quality cheese shop. So regardless of where you live, find the best quality cheese shop in your area and choose one that, like the cheese shop of Centerbrook, encourages you to taste and try. Ask questions. And if you have a menu that is very specific and you want cheeses to go with that, ask. Any cheese purveyor that really cares about what he or she does is going to be happy to answer your questions. And then remember, you don't need a million different kinds of cheese for a cheese platter. Pick 3 or 4 of your favorite and make sure you have a variety. A creamy, like a brie style, a goat, and then something a little firmer, and then a nice maybe blue cheese or Roquefort to round out your cheese tray. And it's just such a pleasing way to begin a meal or to welcome guests. So this looks delicious and I'm gonna try it. This really is good at room temperature, but for a dinner party, I would serve it fresh out of the oven warm. Otherwise, cut it up and just put it on a platter and everybody can have it with drinks. And you can see how beautiful that jam looks. The pastry is so light and the jam has that little hint of sweet, but then it's balanced out by the goat cheese. It's wonderful. Now I'm gonna have a little bit of my favorite red wine. Perfection. I'm happy this could be a meal. I am so glad that you were joining me today. Remember that cheese should be fun to find. So get to your local cheese purveyor and browse and put some time and effort into learning about what you're gonna be eating and serving others. I think you're gonna find it could really be quite a fun and interesting hobby to learn as much as you can about cheeses. And remember that if you're in the shoreline of Connecticut, if you're along this area, the Cheese Shop of Centerbrook, top quality. It was even rated one of the top 5 in the state of Connecticut. It's that good. Thanks so much for joining us. I had so much fun with you today, and we'll be back with all new shows. So stay tuned, read the blog, get new recipes twice a week, follow me on Twitter, and remember, contact me through Facebook. Let me know what episodes you'd like to see. I'd love to hear what recipes you'd like me to come up with. Never know, there might be a show just for you. Remember, anytime you have friends and family gathered together, you have an elegant occasion. Until we meet again, see you soon. Hi everyone, I'm Roberta, creator of The Elegant Occasion, and I want to invite you to join me at Page Hardware and Appliance Company on the historic Beautiful Green in Guilford, Saturday, May 4th. We're having a Mother's Day celebration. Come into Page Hardware and sample terrific brunch and breakfast items specifically for Mother's Day. I'll be there cooking for you, and all proceeds benefit the Columbus House. This is a great charity, and we want to see you there sharing in the fun. See you May 4th.